our leaders, God, that you bless the work of their hands, the sacrifice that they make for our city. And I pray, Lord, that you keep them in your hands. In the name of Jesus, I pray this. Amen.
Please stand. Face the flag. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may now be seated.
Thank you so much for that. We will now move on to roll call. City Clerk.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Members of the Council Successor Agency, Barcena.
Present.
Councilwoman Guillen.
Present.
Councilwoman Sanchez.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa.
Present.
And Mayor Chavez.
Present. Thank you for that. We will now move on to presentation. City Manager, please introduce the presentation.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez. The first item we have is a proclamation recognizing Older Americans Month. Older Americans Month is the month of May, and it's to recognize the achievements and contributions of older adults. We have Ascension Lopez, also known as Chon, here to receive the proclamation. And Director Nava, do we have a video presentation as well?
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
Good times together, forever's the plan. In any weather, let's dance hand in hand. All of the memories, we make them shine. Roads that we're traveling, always in line. Stories for ages, hearts open wide. Turn all the pages by your side. Good times together, forever's the plan. In any weather, let's dance hand in hand. All of the memories, we make them shine. Roads that we're traveling, always in line. Stories for ages, hearts open wide. Turn all the pages by your side. Good times together, forever's the plan. In any weather, let's dance hand in hand.
If I may, that is a mocktail. That is not an actual cocktail.
Liz, at this time, you want to have staff direct Chon up here to the podium, please?
Yes, I'd like to call up our Senior Center Coordinator, Edith Lopez, and our honoree, Ascension Lopez.
Right here, to the podium. You want me to say something? Of course, huh? Okay. En realidad yo no sé qué me reconocieron o qué me van a reconocer, pero prácticamente no creo que represente algo especial en la comunidad. Si acaso en mi familia, si algo me quieren reconocer. Pero de todas maneras, agradezco su bondad por haber elegido a esta persona, su servidor. Y estoy muy contento en el Senior Center porque el personal, incluyendo la coordinadora, la presidenta, no sé, y el equipo que nos atiende, hacen programas no solamente variados y para beneficio de nosotros, sino que también le ponen mucho amor a lo que hacen. Entonces eso es también muy importante de reconocerles a todo el grupo que nos ha atendido. En sí, quisiera también mencionar un poco que los fondos que utilizan para programas no solamente de los adultos, sino de los jovencitos y los niños en el parque o para programas diferentes, pues qué bueno, porque se ve que los representantes de la ciudad se están interesando también, porque es muy importante la juventud y los niños, porque pues es nuestro futuro, pues qué más vamos a pedir. Y para que no se desvíen del camino que deben de seguir, creo que ayudando a las familias con estos programas podemos tener un futuro muy saludable. Eso es lo que nosotros ya como adultos pues ya pasamos por esa etapa y ahora ya nos toca un poquito como solamente recordar y cooperar un poquito con ellos también. Así que muy agradecido. Yo deseo poco y lo poco que deseo, lo deseo poco. Así que es todo lo que podemos decir. Gracias nuevamente a todos los que han sido involucrados en este programa y nos veremos por aquí también seguido. Siempre ando por ahí, pero voy a procurar venir más seguido a sus reuniones. ¿Ok? Gracias. Gracias a todos.
How do we follow up with that? ¿Cómo seguimos después de que usted nos dé esa información y pues su experiencia? Este es un reconocimiento para personas de tercera edad, americanos aquí por decir en este país, ¿verdad? Personas de tercera edad, por este mes reconociendo a las personas. Y nomás les quiero, regularmente lo leo y explica los beneficios, todas las contribuciones que ustedes hacen, pero yo creo que usted lo resumió con su testimonio, su experiencia aquí en nuestra comunidad. Quiero que usted sepa que usted es la razón por qué nosotros aquí estamos representando la ciudad, que todos los programas, diferentes actividades, los paseos, que son todos para ustedes, ¿verdad? De todos, desde el almuerzo que tenemos, los eventos que tenemos ahí en el centro, son para ustedes y son, en mi persona, en mi personal, ustedes son una motivación que me sigue en los momentos difíciles donde yo digo que no puedo, pero yo recuerdo mi comunidad, yo recuerdo todo el esfuerzo que ustedes han pasado y quiero que sepan que aquí estamos para apoyarlo. De nuevo le quiero dar gracias. Quiero abrirlo para los demás colegas, también que digan unas palabras y después lo invito a que nos tomemos una foto con en este certificado. Yeah, if anybody else wants to chime in.
Bueno, pues gracias, señor Concepción. Usted dijo que los niños son nuestro futuro, pero usted es nuestro presente. Usted es nuestra voz de sabiduría, de experiencia, nuestra voz de razón. Siempre que lo veo muy sonriente, feliz, y como dijo nuestro alcalde, es muy bonito ver porque ustedes son los que le dan propósito a que nosotros estemos aquí. Y pues que Dios me lo bendiga siempre.
If nobody else wants to make a comment, go for it, Councilor Barcena.
Solamente le quiero agradecer por tener ese entusiasmo que usted dijo no sabe por qué lo reconocieron, pero yo le voy a decir, es por su entusiasmo. Es porque la ciudad, los concejales, todos ponemos mucho esfuerzo para dar servicios a la comunidad, para que la gente aproveche y usted claramente ha aprovechado de lo que tenemos que ofrecer y sirve como ejemplo. A veces la comunidad no sabe aprovechar ciertos servicios, pero cuando lo ven a usted envuelto en la comunidad dicen, voy a ver a mi compa allá al Senior Center. Por eso lo estamos reconociendo, porque su actitud, su dedicación a la comunidad y ser un ejemplo para todos los demás residentes. Se lo agradezco y por eso lo estamos reconociendo, porque usted es una persona que promueve los servicios aquí en la comunidad. A lo mejor sin querer, pero queriendo, ¿verdad? Sin querer, queriendo. Okay.
Nomás le quiero dar las gracias también por tanta alegría que tiene usted, ¿verdad? Viendo todas las fotos, bailando, todas las actividades que hace, pues trae alegría a todos alrededor. Y te doy las gracias también por reconocer que tenemos ahí el equipo, ¿verdad? Que está ahí sirviendo a ustedes y los otros aquí también sirviendo a ustedes. Entonces, que siga disfrutando de todos los eventos y que traiga a sus amigos y amigas también para que disfruten. Gracias.
Sí, últimamente felicidades, don López. Usted es una persona muy importante, usted simboliza la comunidad de la tercera edad y francamente esa generación, aunque usted dice pues los jóvenes son el futuro, esa generación cultivó lo que llega pues en el futuro, así que es algo muy importante generación tras generación y es muy lindo ver todo eso cómo va progresando. Así que de nuevo felicidades, don López, y admiro mucho las sonrisas y todo el entusiasmo que usted carga en sí mismo. Y como dijeron mis colegas, o sea, usted trae la luz al cuarto. Así que de nuevo muchas gracias y felicidades.
Ahora si podemos nos tomamos una foto aquí enfrente. Gracias.
I said enthusiasmo too, Marco.
Ah, love that. Love that. The city manager, next item.
Yes, thanks again, Mayor Chavez. The next item is a proclamation recognizing Small Business Week, which is the week of May 4th through May 10th. It's to bring awareness and acknowledge the contributions of entrepreneurs and small business owners within the United States. With that, I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Thank you for that, Mr. City Manager. For this one, it's another special one. I'd like to call up Mr. Angel, if you can, right here to come to the dais. But I'll read the proclamation as it goes. City of Bell Gardens proclaims National Small Business Month/week. Olympic Troyes, 6267 Gage Avenue. Whereas since 1963, the United States has recognized small businesses and their impact to the American culture and economy through the month of May to honor close to 30 million small businesses nationwide, the amazing people who run them. And whereas small communities are essential to the success of all communities, creating, strengthening, and maintaining the local, regional, state, and national economies to ensure quality of life for our residents. And the Olympic Troy Burgers has been an icon in the city of Bell Gardens for over 35 years, providing satisfying blends of classic American burgers and Mexican-inspired comfort food to customers of all demographics, from quick dining among family and friends. And small businesses are adapting to the new marketplace, learning new ways to serve the community, exhibiting perseverance, and showcasing the ability to serve in creative ways. And recognition of small businesses in our city is essential to promoting their success and encouraging their perseverance and growth. And whereas the Mayor's Office, the Community Development Department, and the Bell Gardens Chamber of Commerce collaborate with the small business community to support its continued growth and affirm our ongoing commitment to helping Bell Gardens small businesses thrive. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Jorge Chavez, Mayor of the City of Bell Gardens, together with the City Council, do hereby honor Olympic Choice Burgers, Bell Gardens, and proclaim the month of May as National Small Business Month, in Bell Gardens, California, to honor the small business who provides services to our residents and visitors, proclaim this 28th day of April 2025. Now before us, we have Mr. Angel Guerrero from Olympic Choice, and the mic's all yours. If you want to share anything, or if you want to say anything about your small businesses.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
My name's Angel Guerrero. I grew up Bell Gardens, been here my whole life. Our business has been here. Parents started it about 35 years ago. Thank you for the recognition. It's something that I didn't know it was coming, but I appreciate the recognition. This just gives us more of a push to continue doing the certain things that we do for our community. We try to help as much as we can to first responders. We give services to, try to give the best deals we can to them, to people from the city, donating to the high school that's just around the corner. Done the toy drives recently for the kids, and having this recognition just makes me feel that I get appreciated, and our business and our family gets appreciated in this city. I also appreciate having people like you guys around here. I do know that everybody has different views and values, and but one thing I could tell about the people that I do know who are representing this city is at least they are showing that they want to push our families and our city ahead, and that's more than what I could ask for in a lot of things. So thank you for all you guys, everything you guys do, and thank you for this award.
Thank you for that, Mr. Angel. Anybody want to share some comments? Yeah, go for it, Councilor Barson.
Hey, Angel, thank you for being here. I really, really have awesome memories of Troy's. I used to go to Troy's after workouts when I was swimming and playing water polo at Bell Gardens High School. Also after marching band practice, chili fries and all that good stuff. So it's crazy to think that your family has been there for 35 years, which means that when I was going back to my days, which I'm the oldest one, I think, here, you guys have been part of the community for so long. And to finally put a face to a business that I've always been sort of a part of or use your services is a great experience. So I hope you will keep in touch. We're here to help. And we really appreciate everything you've done over the years to continue serving our residents in Bell Gardens. Thank you.
I want to go ahead and thank you and your family for being here for 35 years. It's businesses like yours that help our city thrive. When they think of Bell Gardens, there's restaurants that come to mind right away. And I know especially for Bell Gardens High School, they think of Troy's because a lot of students go there after school. The fact that you guys are there being able to provide that to those students, not only them, but also the whole community as a whole. And you chose to continue doing business here in Bell Gardens. So thank you so much for that. And I wish you much success and another 35 years.
Congratulations, Mr. Guerrero. Olympic Choice is a staple in our community. Actually today I tried the double bacon avocado cheeseburger and it was delicious. So that's my recommendation for everyone here. I think small businesses like yours really symbolize, a step into achieving the American dream, right? And it's such an important part of our community. And I want to thank you again for all these years of service to our community. And again, congratulations on this recognition. And I look forward towards my next burger. So thank you.
Lastly, I'd like to reiterate what my colleague said. It is a staple. I remember Marco said, you're the oldest, I'm the youngest by a day. But I remember going after basketball practice and just indulging whatever it was and just hanging out with my friends, having like a nice little chat, and it felt like a safe place. And then I drive by after and I still see that happening, and it's heartwarming to see that spot continues to be what it is. So thank you for bringing that place to our community.
If I could just add, for me, I have a lot of memories with Troy's, personal connections too. My family, and I know Troy's is a family-run business. And the first thing that I think of is, I told my mom this morning. She asked me, so which business are you going to recognize this week, right? We tend to recognize a business every other week, and this one was a special one because it was National Small Business Month. And I told her, we're going to recognize Troy's. And she's like, oh, the sopes are very good there. And I think immediately, like, no, the chili cheese fries are where it's at, And even when I go on the reviews, it's like, that's still the spot. I remember when I was in adult school in Bell Gardens High School, and I was taking, like, Spanish level 1 through 4 or 2 to 4. And, my teacher, Mr. Gonzalez, he'd say, hey, go run and get some chili cheese fries for us. And we would put asada on top of it, too. Oh, man, it makes all the difference. And, now it takes a while for me to digest that. But when I was younger, oh, it was great, I could eat that every other day. Pero, yeah, it's, I appreciate, all the memories. And I go back to it, and I'm like, man, even the drive-through, we still got that. It's just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's truly a gem that we want to make sure we preserve here in Bell Gardens. So thank you, Angel. Thank you to all your family. And like Councilwoman Dr. De Leon Sanchez said, another 35 years. Yeah. So, yeah. And with that said, let's go ahead and take a picture right here in the front. Thank you. What did Councilwoman Barcena say? Probiotics? A what?
Kombucha is good
Kombucha?
for digestion, so you can try that.
Some fiber, right? Some good stuff. Moving on to the next item, Mr. City Manager.
Thanks again, Mayor Chavez. This item is one that is new to the City of Bell Gardens. It's a proclamation recognizing California Cities Week. It was actually last week, April 20th through the 26th. Recognize and appreciate the many ways a diverse city makes life better for all Californians. And just before I turn it back over to you, Mayor, it just made me think of the City of Bell Gardens and some of the events that we have in the City of Bell Gardens that are unique to Bell Gardens. So the skate park, the skate jam, with all the lights and the fog and the music. When people see pictures of it, I often hear, my city doesn't do that at the skate park. The Independence Day Festival with the laser light show and the fog. Those are things that are open not just to Bell Gardens residents, but other people in the region. So I think this is a great item that you asked for us to bring. So thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, thank you so much, City Manager. It's a good one. The legislature recently passed this, I think maybe 2 years ago, so it was the second year officially of California Cities Week. It was something that League of California Cities had pushed for. And it's a good recognition on behalf of the state to allow us to have our own week. So proclamation, City of Bell Gardens, in honor of California Cities Week, April 20th to 26th, 2025. Whereas cities first arose when 8 California municipalities incorporated in 1850 to provide essential safety and health services to the rapidly growing population of the territory of California due to the periods of economic prosperity and immigration that followed the gold rush in both world wars. And today, California's 483 cities and towns vary in size and scope and serve and service communities throughout the state, from small rural neighborhoods to large urban regions. And more than 80% of Californians' population resides within municipalities and receives city services. And the California Constitution grants them several powers to cities, including the authority to promote and regulate public safety, the authority to raise revenue for public purposes, and the power to operate public works to furnish residents with light, water, power, heat, transportation, and communication. And cities provide millions of Californians with essential services, including public libraries, fire departments, police departments, emergency medical and disaster response, parks and recreation, childcare, community and health, human services programs, solid waste and recycling management, water, sewer, utilities, land use planning, housing and economic development, transportation, planning, maintenance of streets and roads, telecommunications. And while cities differ in matter of population, geography, and economy, they share essential beliefs and values, and cities remain transparent and accountable to the communities they serve and have earned the trust placed in them by local residents. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Jorge Chavez, Mayor of the City of Bell Gardens, with the City Council, do hereby proclaim April 20th to 26th, 2025, and annually thereafter this California Cities Week in the City of Bell Gardens, and urge all citizens of California to be involved in their communities by civically engaged with their local government, and honor city leaders and staff who work tirelessly to bring essential services to residents. Proclaimed the 28th day of April 2025, signed Jorge Chavez, along with the Bell Gardens City Council. And here it is. I don't think we're going to have anybody receive this one, right, Mike?
It's a solo reception
It's a we'll go ahead and have Mike receive it because he's a city manager, right? It makes sense, city manager. You're the representative of the city, Mike. So here you go. We'll go ahead and give it to you. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to our final proclamation. City manager?
Second. Thank you, Mayor Chavez. This item is a proclamation recognizing Municipal Clerks Week and all the work that the clerk's office does to keep our records straight, to make records transparent to the public, and to ensure that all the records of meetings and things of that nature are in compliance and in order. So I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Thank you for that, Ms. City Manager. Passing the next one. All right. I figured I should probably pass it on to my colleagues too. Anybody want to read this next one? Then some of these are pretty long. City of Bell Gardens proclamation, a proclamation in honor of Professional Municipal Clerks Week. Oh, this is great. I love this. We have amazing city clerk staff and team. Whereas the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk, and the oldest amongst public servants, and the office of the Professional Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agency of government at levels, and the Professional Municipal Clerk serve as the information center in functions of local government, and it is more appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of City Clerk. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Jorge Chavez, Mayor of the Bell Gardens City Council, to hereby proclaim and recognize the week of May 4th through May 10th, 2025 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week in Bell Gardens, and encourage all citizens to extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerks, to our City Clerk Daisy Gomez, and department staff for the vital services they perform and the exemplary dedication to our community. Signed, proclaimed this 20th of April 2025, signed Jorge Chavez, Mayor, along with the Bell Gardens City Council. And then this one, Daisy Gomez can go ahead and take care of it. Thank you so much.
so much.
Do you guys want to take a picture? Do we do the whole thing, or do you just want to take it? Perfect. You want to take a picture with us? All right. Big round of applause for our city clerk. So the next one is Councilmember Barson. So, City Manager.
Thanks again, Mayor Chavez. This last proclamation recognizes Building and Safety Month, which is the month of May. Sometimes people get this confused with Public Works, but this is actually for our building and safety staff. We have George Suarez here, the supervisor, and this is to raise awareness about building safety. I noticed when you see earthquakes in other part of the world or other hurricanes or weather events, you notice there are a lot of times tragic loss of life, buildings that fall down, seemingly more often than what you see here in the United States. And that's because of the stringent building codes that are here and that are adopted by cities such as City of Bell Garden and then enforced by employees that work here for the city. So I'll turn it over to you, Councilmember Barcena.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. I have a proclamation here for Building and Safety Month. Whereas building and safety professionals are key to the community's resilience in the face of challenges caused by natural disasters such as earthquakes, fires, pandemics, and more, and whereas the building and safety professionals who safeguard the places where we live, work, and learn, and who ensure our buildings and physical infrastructure are not only safe, but resilient, to protect the investments of homeowners, local governments, and businesses. And whereas building and safety professionals ensure our buildings are constructed using an energy-efficient, climate-resilient, and sustainable framework and meet the needs of the community today, as well as future generations. And whereas the International Code Council has adopted the theme, Building Safety Starts With You, for this year's 45th Building and Safety Month, with the idea of providing an educational and interactive campaign to raise awareness about the importance of building codes in ensuring safety in the spaces we live, work, play, and learn. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Jorge Chavez, Mayor of the City of Bell Gardens, together with the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of May as the 45th Annual Building and Safety Month in Bell Gardens, California, to honor the building and safety staff who provide services to our residents and visitors. Proclaimed this 28th day of April 2025, signed by Jorge Chavez, our mayor, and the rest of the City Council.
Thank you for that. I believe we have someone here to receive the certificate.
Yes, Mayor, we have George Suarez, a supervisor, building safety supervisor here at the City of Bell Gardens.
Mr. George Suarez, take it away.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, and all the administrative staff support that's here present. I want to thank you as a department for your constant support in what we do. As we know, it's very difficult when we're out there enforcing building code requirements that a lot of times that our residents don't quite understand, that we go that extra mile to explain to them why and how. And we in our department take pride in our entire department in everything we do, but especially in the building and safety, making sure that it's safe, and not only safe for the community, but for those that come and visit. And I think as a department, we're extremely proud of the work that we do. I've been doing this for a little bit now and enjoy every minute of it. And I go home knowing that I've done the best that I could in the best interest of the city, and most important, in the protection of our community. And again, I thank everyone present for this award. It means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you for that. George, we really appreciate all the work that you do and the continuous years of service to our community. With that said, if there's no more.
Mayor, if I may.
Absolutely.
I just want to say thank you. I'm going to tell a little story. I won't take too much of your time, but I know everyone's really excited about our aquatics facility that's going to be hopefully opening in October. But I have a story about the involvement of this particular employee from back then. You know, I was an administrative specialist, and I was running the pool during the summer. And the pool gradually became a scary thing to be in charge of, to say the least. I mean, the facility was not doing great. It needed a lot of repairs. Most years, the Public Works Department, we couldn't do everything in-house, and we couldn't really, provide the funding for major repairs like filters and all that. There was one time when I think a threshold was reached, and I felt like I had to reach out to someone over at City Hall, and I don't know why I'm forgetting your name right now. George. Juan. And George. Yeah, no worries. I mean, it's just one of those things, you know. I am the oldest one on the council, like I said. And so George, I reached out to George, and you know, one thing about George is that he does things by the book, and he and that's what you need when you need a supervisor, a building and safety supervisor. You need someone that's gonna be reliable, someone that's gonna do things by the book, and also listen, right? It's not easy to all of a sudden go and inspect the pool, but George took the time to make a report about what his findings were, and sure enough, that's when that pool began to be taken serious, right? The council back then started to move on it, and I mean, it's almost, I think it wouldn't be incorrect to say that if it wasn't for George, we wouldn't be getting ready to open up the $33 million aquatics facility that we're all looking so eagerly to open now. So I want to thank you, George, for being part of that big step to bring attention to things that sometimes are not in compliance, or they need to be looked at a little closer. That's a great example of us, of having courage and having the integrity to put something in writing and take responsibility for basically the safety of your community and employees. So thank you for that. That's all.
And I know you said you've been doing this for a little while, and that's why so many people know you. They know who George, the City of Bell Gardens employee is. And, you know, like you said, it is a difficult job. You know, you get the pleasure, not the pleasure, of being able to inform people like, hey, you're out of compliance here. You know, this is what's happening. But I know that you bring so much experience, so much knowledge, and I'm grateful that you're able to do such an amazing job, and that people know who you are and recognize who you are and recognize the amount of work that you do. And I truly want to thank you for all the years of service, because like you said, it's been a little bit that you've been here, you know, and so thank you so much for everything that you do.
Okay, well, just again, appreciate all
Mr.
your
Mayor.
service. Yeah, go for it, Councilwoman Guillen.
I just quickly want to say thank you, and recapping everything, you've quite literally helped build our community in all ways, shapes, and forms. So thank you for that. Thank you for your continued efforts, and thank you for being someone we can count on to build our community safely. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your service to our community, George. You know, I think when we, as humans, you know, interact with our environments and buildings, you know, on a daily basis, and I think we sometimes take for granted, you know, how much complexity, you know, goes into play, you know, when building a structure. So, you know, your work, you know, the attention to detail, you know, it's admirable, you know, and the wealth of knowledge that you must carry to pinpoint, you know, issues, you know, it's so crucial. And you know, again, I want to thank you for your service to our community. Thank you, George.
Ultimately, just for my comments, I just want to say, echo the sentiments of all my colleagues. Thank you again. Keeping up to date with codes is not easy. I'm learning a little bit about when it comes to building housing, and there's a reason why certain like literally the fire code is a lot of what's just used to when we're beginning to develop housing. So that's been an interesting learning experience, and I could just imagine consistently with new laws coming out and just trying to build here in our state. I mean, you're probably continually keeping up to date with what's going on in the code, really. Not only our code here in Bell Gardens, but just the whole California code, the LA County code, and whatnot. So again, thank you so much, George, for your service, and hopefully you're willing to take the certificate.
Great.
Thank you.
Mayor. City Council, for those kind words, and grateful for the support as always. Thank you.
Go ahead and take a picture. Okay, great. Next item, 6.1 public hearing. We will now begin item number 6.1 at 6:49 p.m. City Manager, please introduce the item.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez. This item is a status update on staff vacancies. It's in compliance with a new Assembly bill titled Local Public Employees, Vacant Positions, and Manuel Carrillo is here, our Finance and Administrative Services Director, to provide a presentation and to ensure our compliance with AB 2561. Thank you, Manuel. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. We're just waiting for the presentation to come up here. There we go. Honorable Mayor and City Council, as part of our public hearing requirement pertaining to AB 25, oh, wait, there we go, hold on. There we go, okay. Pertaining to AB 2561, I will be providing a brief overview of what AB 2561 is and its impact and requirements for the city moving forward. On September 22nd, 2024, Governor Newsom signed Assembly Bill 2561 into law, adding Government Code Section 3502.3 into the Meyer-Millis-Brown Act. This establishes new obligations on public sector agencies related to tracking and presenting information on job vacancies. It officially went into effect on January 1st, 2025. The city's AB 2651 obligation mandates for the annual reporting and presentation of vacancies, recruitment, retention efforts before the formal budget is adopted for the fiscal year, as well as if a bargaining unit's vacancies rate is at or above 20%, then more comprehensive analysis and reporting must be completed. In terms of the public hearing purpose is to increase transparency on staffing shortages in a public setting, address recruitment and retention challenges, providing an avenue to discuss challenges to maintaining a stable workforce. AB 2561 requires an annual public hearing before the adoption of the annual budget. It invites the input from recognized bargaining units during public hearing. The city has 5 recognized bargaining units, which of course are the CEA, which is the City Employees Association, the BGPOA, which is the Police Officers Association, the BGPMA, which is the Police Management Association, PWEA, which is the Public Works Employees Association, and PWSA, which is the Public Works Supervisors Association. For fiscal year 24-25, the city adopted 158 full-time positions. There are currently 8 vacancies throughout the city, 1 in the Public Works Employees Association, 6 currently with the Police Officers Association, and 1 non-represented. And at this moment, no group meets or exceeds the 20% vacancy threshold. Currently, the full-time recruitments include police officers, city planner, which at this moment, at the time of this presentation, I believe the top candidate is in the pre-employment process, as well as a vacancy with the Public Works Employees Association, which will be filled by a formal recruitment. Now, some of the challenges primarily on the PD side, of course, is to try to find a qualified pool of candidates. Of course, I would imagine Chief Camacho could attest to this. It is difficult to bring quality candidates in to the area and to the field. And the retention efforts for the city include open communication with bargaining units, employee recognition, annual service awards, continued employee training and development. And the city's workforce remains stable with continuity of services and institutional knowledge. The majority of city staff have served the city for 5 years or more. And just to conclude and recap, this presentation and public hearing meets our AB 2561 obligation for the year. And as indicated, all groups are under the 20% vacancy threshold. And does conclude our presentation. If there are any questions, be more than happy to answer.
And just to add for Manuel's perspective, I think the city of Bell Gardens does a really good job at recruiting quickly. If we know somebody's given a resignation, we'll try to get the recruitment going even prior to them leaving. As Manuel mentioned, we're constantly recruiting for those positions that have high turnover due to retirements and things of that nature, such as the police department. And I just say this, I don't take for granted as the city manager that we I don't take for granted that we don't have vacancy rates that are in that 20%. If you work for some larger agencies, once you get to that 9, 10, 11%, it becomes somewhat of a death spiral and becomes nearly impossible to even recruit back to the positions that you were in. And that's part of the reason for this assembly bill. So it doesn't have a lot of an impact here in Bell Gardens, but if you were to see this presentation in other government agencies, you would understand most likely why the bargaining units and the labor groups have, I think, lobbied for such an assembly bill so that they can show publicly prior to budget adoption in certain circumstances where there may be 1,000 positions that are budgeted and there are 800 filled, and it means people are getting burned out and working overtimes and things of that nature. So I don't take for granted that our report looks nice and straightforward. So thanks to Andy C., our HR manager, and to Manuel Correa, our director. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for that, Manuel, and City Manager. I really appreciate it. We will now move on to council member questions or comments. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments? All right. Seeing, yeah, Council, Dr. De Leon Sanchez.
My only question is, if we do get close to that 20% threshold, would we be notified, or how would we know, like, what percentage we're at?
Andy, do you want to? So Andy C. is our HR manager. He can address that.
Yes. Good evening. So yes. So during the annual report process, if we were to exceed the 20%, we would present to council as well as invite the bargaining group to make their presentation as well, and we will look at ways how we can quickly fill the positions for the bargaining unit.
Thank you so much.
And just to clarify, so that would be once a year, so.
Any other council members have any questions or comments? I don't necessarily have a question. I do have a comment. I know that there are other government agencies right now that are going through a very, very tough budget season. And what I would say for the vacancies that we do have, for example, in our police department, and some of the difficulty has been to engaging with some of the qualified candidates per se, or I would say, I mean, maybe this would be an opportunity to see and offer them opportunities, you know, from other government agencies that are having a hard time. I mean, I heard that, I think just the one that I come up with the head, from the top of my head is the city of LA, I think they're laying off 1,600 people. And I think half of those or a quarter of those happen to be within their police department. So, I mean, maybe some folks, if they can, it'd be a good opportunity. So, if there's no more questions or comments, well, we're going to go ahead and move on to public comments for this item. I will call 3 speakers at a time. Please make your way over to the podium to line up. City Clerk, please announce the instructions for public participation.
Thank you. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on public hearing item 6.1. Please state your name for the record. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone, and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining us through Zoom may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature and select the unmute or the microphone icon when instructed. We didn't receive any public comment cards. We don't have anyone raising their hand virtually, and we didn't have any written communications.
Thank you for that, City Clerk. If there's no objection by the members of the City Council, I will go ahead and close public participation for public hearing item number 6.1. And if there's no further council member questions or comments, I will close public hearing at 6:58 p.m. For the final portion, may I have a motion to receive and file this report?
I move to receive and file.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Dr. De Leon Sanchez and a second by Councilwoman Guillen. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Barcena?
Yes.
Councilwoman Guillen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa?
Yes.
And Mayor Chavez?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much for that. We will now move on to public participation on non-agenda items. Public participation is now open. City Clerk, please announce the instructions for public participation.
Thank you. Members will now have an opportunity to speak on items not listed on the agenda. Please state your name for the record. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, subject to an overall 30-minute period unless announced otherwise. Callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone, and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining us through Zoom may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature and select the unmute or the microphone icon when instructed. We didn't receive any public comment cards. Written comments were submitted, and we don't have anyone raising their hand virtually.
Thank you so much for that, City Clerk. If there's no objection by the members of City Council, I will close public participation for non-agenda items. City Clerk, please announce the instructions for public participation on items listed on the agenda.
Thank you. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on items listed on the agenda. Please state your name for the record. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone, and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining through Zoom may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature and select the unmute or microphone icon when instructed. We didn't receive any public comment cards. No written comments were submitted, and no one is raising their hand virtually.
Thank you for that. City Clerk, if there's no objection by the members, I will close public participation on agenda items. Moving on to item number 9, external committee updates. Does any member of the council have anything to report out from their external committees? Okay, seeing none, I'll just go ahead and report out. Last week, we had the annual City Leader Summit up in Sacramento for California cities. It was a really well-attended conference. I had the opportunity, as I mentioned from the last meeting, to testify on a bill. It was SB 569. It is a bill that essentially, and before I begin to say what the bill is, I want to thank our city manager for gathering a lot of the details pertaining to this bill. I know our Director of Public Works was looped in, and also our chief. But essentially, it'll create a system or a streamlined process to get Caltrans to address some of the unhoused that currently live or have been at the right-of-way of Caltrans that necessarily we can't go into because it's not our jurisdiction. But as we come in and out of the freeway, it's difficult to engage with sometimes Caltrans. So essentially, this bill would hold them accountable when it comes to addressing and streamlining communication between Caltrans and local agencies. And we're not the only city that engages with this issue. Up and down the state, there was overwhelming support of this bill. I'm happy to report out that that bill, the Senate Transportation Committee, it passed with 8 aye votes. There was no opposition present as well. So I think from this point it'll go to appropriations. I don't think it has anything to do. It shouldn't be a tough battle through there. And the idea is, and then it'll go through the assembly and make its way through there. So that's the only thing I have to report out. But again, thank you for the opportunity to go and present our small little city of Bell Gardens there. And they were very thankful that Bell Gardens was there too. So always looking forward to that. All right, if there's no more committees, I'll go ahead and move on to our city manager's report. City manager, take it away.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez. This report's a little bit long here. There's a lot going on in the way of community events and workshops and things of that nature. Just want to remind everybody on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. there's an open art studio available at Veterans Park. On Fridays, we have the resident art and yard sale at Veterans Park from 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. On April 15th and 16th, April 15th, Community Development held their monthly rent stabilization workshop for property owners. On April 16th in the morning here at City Hall, the Police Department held a Business Watch meeting that was well attended. You could tell the parking lot was full, Garfield was full, and I know the chief got a lot of good information and also requests for service out of that meeting. That same day, Community Development in that same room had the rent stabilization workshop for tenants. The following day, on April 17th, the Police Department had a Battle of the Badges blood drive at Ross Hall. I'm not sure, Chief, who won the battle. Was it police or fire for the blood drive?
we took it, Mike. The PD took it.
I thought there was gonna be a lot of effort for you to say police.
I felt like there was a little bit of a hesitancy or suspense right
Well, I
there.
couldn't get my mic to work, so, but no, we took
It was the mic.
Yeah.
It was for effect. On April 18th, we had the resident art and yard sale, included the free farmers market that's still going on regularly. Last weekend was one of the Bell Gardens yard sale weekends. On April 23rd, there was a walk audit at Florence and Garfield, where stakeholders were able to look at specific attributes of that intersection in detail. So we had a few members of the public along with staff and our consultant that's working on the transit-oriented communities project were out there that day. Also on April 23rd, there was a Neighborhood Watch area meeting. Thanks, as always, to the police department, Annalie, the chief, and also specifically the Community Development Housing Group. They had an info booth there at the Neighborhood Watch meeting, and also for Public Works and the director, Bernie Iniguez, for providing information at that meeting. This Saturday, Bernie and Public Works had a spring cleanup at Gallant and Darwell Park, thanks to staff, and also I saw there were council members there in the rain involved and helped out with the cleanup. On Wednesday, April 30th at 6 p.m., that is 2 days from now. It's the deadline for the Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta Art and Essay Contest. So there's $5,000 in awards available. There will be 16 winners that receive, on the low end, $50 to as much as a $500 award, depending on the age group and depending on the placement. On Thursday, May 1st, the city is hosting Montebello Unified School District Student Leadership Day here at City Hall in the morning. So there'll be student leaders here along with their instructor or counselors. They'll have a mock council meeting. And then this year, unique to most years, the City of Bell Gardens is hosting the larger gathering of all the participants from the Student Leadership Day over at the Bicycle Hotel and Casino. I think we have room for about 350 people, so that will be people from Montebello Unified School District, elected officials from the cities that have schools that are within that district, and other local officials as well, in addition to all the students that participate in the program. So it's a big day, a busy day with a lot of kids, but brings a lot of energy into City Hall. On Friday, May 2nd, coming up, we have a deadline for submission of information for the high school graduate banner program. So those are the banners that go up in June and stay up through the summer, recognizing graduates from school here in Bell Gardens. So Friday, May 2nd will be a deadline for that submission. Also on Friday, May 2nd, the Community Family Services Center is hosting a Stay Housed LA workshop at 5 p.m. at Ross Hall. At the end of the workshop, the attendees will be offered private one-on-one meetings with tenant rights professionals. I think similar to what we've seen with some of the immigration workshops. Coming up on Saturday, May 3rd, this is a big one. Athens is hosting a curbside cleanup where residents may place bulky items at the curb by 6 a.m. for free pickup. So it's appliances, mattresses, furniture, bagged yard waste, most of the things that you picture when you think of big items that you see people call for service, somebody dumped a bunch of things off. There's no hazardous item pickup though, so tires, batteries, light bulbs, etc. Are not included. That's items have to be out by 6 a.m. I think a lot of people put them out the night before at midnight, 10 p.m. Also on Saturday, May 3rd, a few hours later at 9 a.m., the police department is going to host a youth community cleanup with a cop at Marlowe Park. So this is open for youths 13 to 17. It's a way for them to interact at an early age with the police department at an impressionable age, help clean up the park, and then also earn community service hours. So if they have that requirement for school or for Boy Scouts or something like that, or Girl Scouts, they can earn several hours there. On Thursday, May 8th, is another important deadline. This is for the scholarship program. It's open to Bell Gardens High School seniors who are pursuing higher education after high school. There's a total of $10,000 in scholarships for 4 recipients. You can find information on any of those on our calendar page or if you go to our social media. So we'll do at least, I'm sure Recreation Community Services will put more out on the city side of it. We'll make sure we're putting these deadlines out as well. And just final comment on the consent agenda. There's several items of interest, as always, for residents, business stakeholders. We've got a second reading of an accessory dwelling unit ordinance to make sure that we're in compliance with state law. We've got an easement for Golden State Water over at the aquatic center. That's for the water connection. We've got a completion of the cistern project over at Ford Park. That's the one that's underneath the baseball fields. Everybody's back to using and forgets that there's a giant cistern underneath their feet. Also, in the theme of aquatics, still here in water, acceptance of an LA 84 grant that's going to pay for expanded swimming lessons here in the city of Bell Gardens this summer. There's also an amendment to an agreement that helps us and helps the city clerk process public records requests in a timely, transparent manner. And finally, there's a purchase order to outfit 13 new 2025 model year police vehicles with the proper emergency equipment. Those are vehicles that were initially approved by the council probably 20 to 21 months ago. It's taken that long to order the vehicles, for them to be available, for them to come in, and now it's time to execute a contract so they can actually be properly outfitted. That's what I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much for that, City Manager. Really appreciate all the work that staff has put in, and every 2 weeks there's always something new, right? Every week, so I really appreciate all the work. If there's no objection by the members of the City Council, we will move on to consent calendar. Does any member of the council, successor agency wish to pull an item for separate discussion? If not, can I have a motion?
I move to approve 11.1 through 11.13 on the
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. De Leon Sanchez and a second by Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. Okay, great. Moving on. Item number 12, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez. This item is the local commission appointment list, so it's staff's recommendation the council review the appointments list and by motion remove commissioners and or make appointments to posted vacancies. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for that, City Manager. Anybody want to change or add? Commissioners? Okay. In the last council meeting, I said I needed to add. And I said I was going to add all of my commissioners. And I'm happy to say that I got 4 commissioners now. So I'm about to make a motion with a bunch of names. So I'd like to nominate Linda Judith Lopez for Education Commission, Caitlin Cabrera for the Recreation, Cultural, and Youth Commission, Mayra Teresa Llanes for the Senior Citizen Commission, and Edgar Juvenal Lopez Bustillos for the Traffic and Safety Commission. Can I have a motion for that?
Motion to, what is it?
Second.
Motion to approve the nominations.
Motion to approve the nomination.
And I'll second.
Thank you for that, Councilwoman Guillen and Councilwoman Barcena. Yeah, if there, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? All right, ayes have it. Thank you. All right, moving on to our next item. And I should say final item. City Manager, take it away.
Thank you, Mayor Chavez. This item is an update to an item that was brought in late 2023 that shows an inventory of vacant and or abandoned property citywide to include vacant lease space, partially vacant property that's over 5,000 square feet. Back at that time, without giving up too much information before I turn it over, there were approximately 42 or 43 parcels that fit the bill. This time there's around 30. Last time we were still coming out of COVID, there may still have been some softness on the retail space side of things and on the development side of things. So this is an update with several recommendations from the council and options for the council to consider. With that, I will turn it over to our interim director, John Ramirez from Community Development, to provide a presentation. Thanks, John. Thank you, Mayor.
Great. Thank you, City Manager, Mayor, members of the council. I appreciate a little bit of time to go through this. This item, as the City Manager said, came to the council back in, we're going to skip the recommendations and we'll go to the end with those, back in September of 2023. The goal was to look at a way to address the vacant properties throughout the city in a way that supported the community's goals and then also motivated the property owners to take action on their properties. So that time, staff presented 2 possible options, one of them being a fee registration program to register, the owners would register with the city and we would track their progress on their properties, maintenance issues, that sort of thing. And then also, the second idea was a ballot tax measure, which would create an assessment of a tax on the properties that were vacant. Staff had provided an inventory at that time of approximately 40 plus properties. And in October of 2009, staff came back to the council, and at that time, there wasn't any further action after that particular city council meeting. So fast forward to this year. Currently, there's about 30 properties that are vacant or underutilized throughout the city. This isn't an exact number, but it's pretty close. We went through the old list, and we had quite a bit of progress over the last couple of years, so that's great news. One of the ideas, going back to a fee registration program, we took the model of our current rent registration program. We just took an estimate of that type of fee, and we looked at, okay, what would it look like if we had these properties registered? What revenue would it generate? And how would that program look? And with about 30 properties at about $156 per property annually, we'd have about $4,700 of revenue generated each year to communicate with the property owners, manage the program, and track the progress of these different properties. The fee study to determine an appropriate fee would be in the range of about $20,000. That would be a one-time cost, so over time that would be recovered, but it would take probably about 5 years to recover that cost based on the anticipated revenue. For the tax assessment program, we looked at the city of Oakland as a model. A couple of things to keep in mind. Oakland is a much larger city, and their inventory of vacant properties is much more significant than what we have here at the city. So the numbers there bear it out. There's thousands of vacant properties, and they're generating millions of dollars in revenue to manage their program. So they started that program in 2019. And they had exemption provisions that dealt with maybe like if they were owned by schools or nonprofits or government buildings, or if the owners had health issues or were elderly and on a fixed income. There were a variety. There are 10 or 11 different exemption provisions. And ultimately what happened is when you take the number of properties that are actually vacant, and then you apply those exemptions, it reduces the amount of properties that are required pretty dramatically down to about 25%, so 1 in 4. And each of those carried in the range of $3,000 to $6,000 for the tax rate. There were some calculations for which one you would apply, but if we took just the $6,000 tax rate and applied it to 25% of our current vacant property inventory, that would be about 8 to 9 properties, and we generate just under $50,000 a year on that program implementation. So, we'd have to go through a process to get there, and so you'd probably come out with some need to generate future revenue to cover the costs of going through the process for the ballot measure and then creating the program to get the assessments in place. So those were two options. One of the third options we've been thinking about is looking at 5 to 10 priority sites within the city that are really a high priority for the council. Based on your history here, your knowledge of the community, your conversations at the grocery store. You're waiting in line and someone's like, "Hey, what's going on with that property over there? Why isn't anybody building it?" You're right there in the community and hearing these ideas and these comments every day. So if we took 5 to 10 of these priority sites and worked with an economic development consultant to manage those, look at ways to market those properties, and work with the specific property owners, understanding their goals, whether they want to sell, whether they want to keep the properties, who they're marketing to, and really become a resource for those property owners so that ultimately we would be able to align a future development with the property owner's goals and then also the community's goals through your direction. So tonight, it's a discussion item to talk through these recommendations. And we do have a couple of recommendations in terms of council action. And it could be to receive and file the report and don't do anything further. You can direct staff to coordinate with the city's economic development consultant to work through vacant property program in a way, and we would come back and talk about what that means a little bit more before we implemented it. We would identify priority properties, work through a program to find opportunities in the city for new commercial businesses, if that's what happens with these properties, or residential opportunity. And then we'd work to market those properties with that consultant. That's recommendation number 2. A third recommendation is to revisit a registration program and create an ordinance for vacant properties. And then we can consider that at a future public hearing. And lastly is revisiting an initiative to start a ballot tax measure for the same. So with that, we're here for questions, comments, really have that discussion, and then your direction, and we can move forward and come back to you at a future meeting at your wish. So, thank you.
Thank you so much for that, John. Appreciate it. Any members of the council have any questions or comments? Okay. Seeing none, I just want to say I really appreciate staff's time on this item. I know we've had fair conversations already with city manager, and I feel comfortable moving forward with one of these recommendations. But before I do, I just want to make sure that nobody else has any questions or comments about this item at all. Okay. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and make a motion to direct staff to coordinate with the city's economic development consultant to identify 5 to 10 priority properties and identify opportunities for each property, and then work to market a property for the benefit of the community. So that'd be recommendation number 2. And I want to also include as part of that motion a report back, possibly within the next 6 months. So it's in April. I would say by October, if we can bring back this item and see what progress has been made in terms of communication with the 5 to 10 properties. And then at that point, if we see that we need to figure out other avenues of in communication or collaboration between property owners, we can revisit the other recommendations. Again, the idea of this item is to just have it be another tool in our toolbox as a city, and ensure that we can address nuisance, blight throughout our community. Not that there's a lot of that, but there happens to be maybe a business here or two that needs a little bit more attention than others. But with that said, if city attorney's good on the motion.
Just to clarify the motions, option number 2 with addition of reporting back in 6 months.
That's correct. All right, there's my motion.
Question before moving
Absolutely.
forward. Do we currently have a consultant that we're working with in economic development?
That's a great question. City manager?
Yes, council members. So included in this fiscal year budget 24-25 that was adopted back in the May-June timeframe, there were funds that were appropriated for the purpose of putting out an RFP and hiring on a contract consultant to do some work for the city that would result in a work product that we could use for the next couple of years at ICSC and other places to market potential opportunities with the city. So funds were budgeted this year. An RFP was put out, I think, before Gus Romo had left. The proposals were received, I believe, in the time that John has been here. The proposal review's been completed, and we anticipate bringing an item at the next council meeting for these services, and we would recommend tacking on some additional funds for this particular work here that's specific to this, in addition to the work that was already included in the budget. It's still all within the budget that we have, though.
Just want to make sure that it was within the budget and it's not allocating additional funds that weren't accounted for. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
We need a second now.
I'll second.
Thank you for that, Councilman Guillen. With that said, we will go ahead and do a roll call for this one.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Members of the Council Successor Agency, Barcena? Councilwoman Guillen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sanchez? Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa?
Yes.
And Mayor Chavez?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you so much for that, City Clerk. We will now move on to our last portion of the agenda, which is council member comments, successor agency comments, and we'll begin with council member Barcena. I feel like at some point we should switch the order, right?
I'm already used to it.
I've been in your shoes, and like I remember when I was the first one to always go, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta go right away to. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any notes today, so maybe that's a good thing because then it will be quicker. But I just want to talk a little bit about what I've been doing in the community, what I've been noticing. First of all, there's been some concerns with criminal/gang activity in where I live, and you know, I'm happy to say that the support from our police department has been excellent. Not to mention our public works department. They've been out there cleaning up some of the graffiti that we report on, and I really appreciate the responsiveness and them taking care of our residents and their concerns. Another thing that I wanted to mention is how well some of our community groups are doing, and I want to make sure that I invite everyone to visit them every now and then if you guys are available. Our Toastmasters Club 587 is doing pretty well right now. They have a membership of about 20 people, and they get about 10 people per meeting. To remind you guys, Toastmasters is a public speaking and leadership club that meets every Tuesday at 6 p.m. here at City Hall. So if you guys are ever available, please do stop by. They get very excited when they see their local elected officials swing by. Vida Sana is doing amazing as always. I don't even think there's nothing to report about that other than they're doing amazing. We're working on getting them some t-shirts. Assemblymember Blanca Pacheco's office is working on that, so hopefully we can get them new t-shirts. Their old t-shirts are already over a year old, but they still, I don't know if you guys remember, but they brought them here when we recognized them, so they're also, I have to go and visit them. It's been a while for me. Maybe do a little bit of cardio over there. And last but not least, the Atención Plena, which is a mindfulness group. I'm happy to report that one of the volunteer instructors might be getting like a official instructor position. So I know that they're working on that with staff, and that group is also doing great. And I want to invite and encourage each and every one of you to stop by when you get a chance. I think they have an Instagram that you guys can follow and see when they meet. And just generally, I think all these groups are doing great, and they all will be very happy to have you guys swing by. So that's all. Thank you to staff for all the work that you do. I'm very excited about the skate jam that's coming up. I'm taking a step back and kind of letting the department take care of that a little bit more this year, because last year I kind of like got in there and pulled a bunch of like organizations and volunteers, and this time I'm just kind of like taking a step back. But one thing that I had to ask them to do is bring back El Conjunto Nueva Ola, which is the luchadores group that play 80s cumbias. Our community loved them the last 2 times that they performed, so I want to invite you, the mayor. I know you haven't seen them, right? Have you seen them?
Nah, but I remember seeing clips of them. They wear like luchador masks and stuff.
Yeah, you guys should come by. It's really cool.
Do we have a date for that already?
Yes, it's Thursday, May 15th.
Perfect. All right. Well, we're gonna have a great time.
Yeah, and that's basically my report. Very excited to see everything moving forward, and thank you for a great meeting. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for that, Councilwoman Barcena. Councilwoman Guillen.
So really quickly, I would just like to thank staff, my colleagues, very quick meeting, and invite I know this Chief, the cleanup is mainly for teens, right? For community service hours. So take advantage of that and help us clean up. We got a little soaked this weekend, right, Bernie? But yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that, Councilwoman Guillen. Dr. De Leon Sanchez?
Once again, always just thanking staff for all the hard work that you guys do. I just want to remind residents that we do have the Bell Gardens Connect app that you can go ahead and report, you know, different things from double parking to light being out to graffiti, things of that nature, so that it can get taken care of in a timely manner. I also want to remind our residents that we have our police department, and our police department is here to not only help and support our residents, but also they have to enforce the rules. They have to enforce the law. And when we see residents breaking the law, unfortunately, you know, there's going to be consequences. Things are going to happen, you know, and our police department has a really good rapport with our residents. But it's really unfortunate to see some of this misleading information that goes on, especially on social media. And so I'm always going to try to clarify things and support our police department as well as our residents. But, you know, just giving everybody the opportunity of, like, we do have the app, we do have, you know, services for our residents. So just remember that. And thank you so much to staff and to my colleagues.
Thank you for that, Dr. De Leon Sanchez. Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa?
First off, I want to thank my colleagues and again to staff for putting in all this great work week in and week out. I also want to specifically thank Chief Camacho and his team for helping me address a concern from a resident. They were very prompt and very informative with this and communicative with the individual. So thank you so much for your help, and again, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for that, Mayor Pro Tem de la Rosa. For my comments, I just want to, first and foremost, again, thank you to all of our city departments, all of our staff. Really appreciate all the work that each and every one of you do. You know, everyone from the maintenance workers to our part-time staff at the parks, all the way up to our city manager. You know, again, without you, this city wouldn't function, literally. We're seeing a lot of things happening in the county and in the city of LA, and it makes me feel so warm and positive knowing that here in our city we're heading in the right direction. You know, as we approach close to the end of the cycle with this budget, you know, I know a lot of agencies are making tough decisions, and I'm very happy to say that here in our Bell Gardens, in our city, we're seeing the glass is half full, not half empty. And we're positive and we're optimistic, and every month you know, city manager and I, we discuss about the numbers coming in from obviously our card room. You know, at the next meeting in this upcoming month, we're going to have another town hall again towards the end of the month. I want to again thank Councilmember Barcena for attending the last town hall I had. You know, I'm looking forward to again engaging with the community, engaging with the residents. And you know, it's difficult at times to answer to Dr. De Leon Sanchez's point about there's sometimes residents that have a difficult time understanding the policies and the procedures and reasons why things have been done, or they're used to a different set of norms or a different set of rules, right? So I'm glad that here in our city, we're heading in the right direction. We have an incredible staff and a great city manager who does a phenomenal job. So I just, again, I'm very, very, truly grateful. Want to mention a couple of things that were briefly mentioned. This Saturday, there's going to be this county-wide open house for our local fire department. LA County Fire, they're going to have fire service days, and it's going to be on Saturday, countywide. So all local LA County Fire Department, in our case, Fire Station 39 will be open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Anybody can go and just kind of check in and see how it is there. So that's exciting. And then I also want to mention and thank staff's coordination with a lot of great community groups. This upcoming Friday on May 2nd, we're doing a workshop with Stay Housed LA. You know, I was looking at the flyer and just so many community orgs that are going to be there. We have folks from Libre coming from Long Beach. You know, CBE is going to be there, EYC, EJ, the Legal Aid Foundation, Inner City Law Center is going to be there, and Community Legal Aid SoCal. So really, and we partnered up with the county too. So I really, really appreciate all the coordination efforts that we've done. And I've been forwarding a couple of other things, one pertaining to obviously the Mexican consulate. I know that there's been progress on that. I'm kind of curious to know how's the status coming along with the consulate. Okay, great. Let's see.
Go ahead, Director Nava. I know they met last week, and I think they're moving forward with some internet testing.
Yes, thank you, Mr. O'Kelly. Good evening, Mayor. Yes, we met last week with the consulate for their mobile consulate program, and we're making plans to bring an item to council just to get approval for hosting them on a regular basis throughout the year, to host a mobile consulate here in the city of Bell Gardens at our neighborhood youth center. So our staff are working on getting some kinks worked out for the internet. They'll come back next week and do a test just to make sure everything is copacetic, and then we'll come back to council and get some direction to move forward.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's been truly, it's going to be a great resource here in our community. I went to the consulate recently. It's not easy to get all the way to MacArthur Park. They're literally right in front of MacArthur Park out in LA. With traffic, you're looking at literally an hour, coming back another hour. So, I mean, you're going to save yourself 2 hours of driving. And if you take the bus or the metro, maybe 3-4 hours. I'm just so happy to see that this item is being in progress. And again, thank you to Director Nava, thank you to City Manager for pushing this forward. And then finally, also there's another item that I had mentioned via email. I know I brought it up. It was the partnership with Alliance for a Better Community, ABC, and they also are doing some sort of study or program in regards to, I believe it's education or technology access here in our city. So again, thank you, City Manager and Director Nava for consistently coordinating. And then finally, before our next meeting, we're gonna have a holiday in between, and it's gonna be Mother's Day. So for all the mothers, thank you for all you do in our community. Everybody who's on staff who happens to be a mother, I really appreciate all of that, all of your guidance and advice, and you all have a very, very special place in my heart and amongst the council's heart too here. So with that said, I want to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day, and also Mexican Mother's Day, which is the 10th of May as well. So if there's no more objection, remember it's the City Council. I will go ahead and adjourn the City Council Successor Agency meeting at 7:36 p.m.